Welcome everyone, I'm Tracie Mahan, and this is a clip of one of the channeled Ascension Activation Sessions where the client is discovering that she is a little bit of a guardian over another land, and that other land just might be Earth. Take a listen.
I see sort of like a gold and white energy. Looks like I still have long whitish hair. It looks like something that doesn't age or doesn't get born. It's not really connected to a time frame. It just sort of always stays in the longevity that it is. And it also looks like it has these pointed ears.
We like the pointed ears.
Yeah.
What else can you tell us? This sounds like a fabulous being. How does it feel to be this, to be in this energy?
Very light, very wise.
Does it feel familiar to you?
Yes.
We would like you to just sit with that feeling of familiar for a moment so that you can remember who you were and allow for the information to flow to you so that you have the understanding of who you were as this being and as part of this group. Describe to us a little bit what is going on with that.
It seems to be a very joyful being, very content being, but also sort of very, very rebellious. And yeah, with a very, very to be taken serious mission.
And we feel like you're holding something. What are you holding?
So funny. I was just gonna say, it sounds like it has like a bow and arrow.
And what do you do with the bow and arrow?
The word that comes up for me is protection.
What else do you know about who you were in that?
I know that there were many of us.
There are many of you that look like you are looking as you see yourself with the long hair.
We were all sort of on the same mission, very unique in our own ways, but all on the same mission.
What was the mission?
It still seems to have to do something with protection and protection of land, protection of space.
What land were you protecting?
The answer I get was a foreign land, as if we were sent there from our own land to protect this land.
And can you see what the foreign land is? Can you describe?
I would almost say, I would almost say that this foreign land it looks like a place on Earth.
And you were sent from your planet to this land to protect it?
Yes.
Do you know the name of the group that you were a part of?
I feel like it's like a name that I can't pronounce because it's in another language.
That happens quite often. And so what were you protecting this land from?
So the protection seems to sort of move more towards like restoration or preserving.
What were you restoring it from? What happened?
Outside forces that would deplete it.
Mm. And so you are able to restore the land. And then you're protecting it. Are you protecting it from the outside sources?
Yes, but I do feel there's more to it.
As much as you can tell us would be wonderful.
So we're protecting it, we're restoring it, we're building something in it. We're keeping it safe so beings can live there.
And what kind of beings will live there?
Would be light beings, it would be indigenous humans and tribes, it would be animals. But the entire feeling of it seems very ethereal.
How so? Tell us about that.
It's almost like a merging of the ethereal and the earth. But the sort of more energetic or more spiritual or ethereal part of it is very crucial in this. Because without it, it wouldn't have the sort of protection or restoration or energy or creation. It wouldn't be quite possible.
What time frame are you in when you're doing this?
It almost seems like it doesn't have a time frame. It's something that's been going on forever and that will go on forever.
And so this land that you are protecting and restoring is going to have a more spiritual base to it. Is that different than what is being experienced now on that land?
Yeah, I think the land has a certain energy calling or spirituality about it, but it needs a lot more to get it where it needs to be.
And how many are working on this to help the land to get where it needs to be?
On a sort of earthly or physical plane, not that many. But on a sort of energetic level, there's thousands.
And you are on which level of that in this as this being? Which part do you play?
I would say both, but I lean more on the ethereal plane.
And how is it that you are restoring and protecting this land? What is it that you do particularly? Can you describe that?
I just see myself walking through the land, connecting to different tribes and people. I'm certainly telling them something or introducing something. Yeah, I would say it's introducing or asking for participation.
And what are you asking them to participate?
To protect the land, to keep it pristine, but with new ways of thinking, ways that haven't been presented to Earth.
What kind of new ways are going to be presented to Earth for helping them to keep the land preserved?
I think it's certain practices, like, or at least practices comes to mind for me, but it's more a matter of like holding it, or then again the protection comes again, where it says we're protecting it so it can naturally return to its balance and capacity.
And how could the human do this from the earth, from the ground, from that land that they're on? How can they help?
What comes to me is ritual and dedication. I see planting, like planting medicines and planting herbs, planting food, even just harvesting it from what's already there in the world. But for the most part, sort of restoring the connection that they have of the land.
restoring the connection. We would love for you to describe to us what that would look like to restore connection to the planet.
So that humans would feel a connection to planet at all.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I think it all relates to understanding and empathy, but also very much on a sort of experiential level, if I can say that, like to actually feel and understand, to be living in connection with the land.
And
And
when
like
the
the
human can live in connection with the land like that, when they can feel it and they can be connected, what happens? How does that change things?
they would look after it and they would repair it.
And what does
Yeah,
that do for the energy of the planet when it's connected like that?
I mean, it certainly heightens the vibration.
And when the vibration is heightened like that, then what happens?
It connects to the ethereal.
Mm-hmm. And then,
Then there's a sort of union, lifting of a veil, abundance, resourcefulness, and harmony.
mm-hmm. And what happens to fear?
Yeah, it disappears.
So harmony is restored and the fear is gone.
Yeah, that's true.
And what is it like to live in a world like that?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's blissful. It's what it's meant to be, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. And when the people are in union with the planet and they are restoring the planet and repairing the planet, now what does the planet look like?
It has wide open spaces. It has a clean feeling to it. There's enough for everyone.
And what about with the
Mm.
animals on the planet?
What I get, they would also just return to balance and harmony, in a sense that we would also have a connection to them, and a connection that is mutual and that is of respect and value, more from the human side towards the animals.
Mm-hmm. And so there is respect between the humans and the animals.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And as the being that you were seeing yourself as protecting and restoring with the bow and the arrow, how do you feel when the planet gets to this place?
I feel happy and relieved and a little bit proud, um, like sort of mission completed.
Mm-hmm. That is a good feeling, mission completed. And we all want you to feel that way, as that would be a glorious world to be living in. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that they would like you to see with this planet and with yourself as you were looking at that planet?
One thing that just comes to me is sort of an ongoing flourishing.
Mm. For the planet?
Yeah, and then with that, there's that strong sort of link to the ethereal, though.
Yes. And that strong link to the ethereal, how important is that?
It's pretty much everything.
Mm. How would a human find that if they didn't know what it was?
The human being would get there through purification. That's what comes to me.
And how would one purify?
Um, Through the body, through practice, through rituals, and that would sort of make us experience or feel that connection that we're supposed to have to the planet.
And what else might a human be able to do to make that ethereal connection? They're doing the purification. But what do they do? What could they do with their energy fields? How would they connect?
Quietness. What comes to me is like a need for silence.
Mm-hmm. There's probably a very big need for silence. Many humans are distracted.
Yeah.
And when they're in their silence, what would they expect to have happen? What happens when they quiet the mind?
They would see themselves.
Mm-hmm. And when they're seeing themselves and they're in this space, now how do they connect to the ethereal?
It's almost like that they realize that it's not separate.
Mm-hmm. And how does that feel to realize you're not separate from that which you're seeking?
It feels like it's what it's meant to be.
And as if the humans can do more of that and go into the silence and connect in this way, that is going to create the union and the harmony with the planet. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you see this as happening?
Too slowly.
Mm-hmm. But you can
Yeah.
see the world as it is evolving with the humans in this form of connection. This is something you do see for it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And the humans will start to restore and repair the planet.
I really hope so.
We do
I
too.
just hope it will be enough.
And can you see, will it be enough?
Well, we would need everybody to participate.
We see that as well. Will there be a time where there is enough participants that are in union with the planet that they can influence those who are not participating? Will the balance of the scales tip?
I do see it, but it seems too slow and it seems a very far way to go.
Mm-hmm. Is there any way to speed it up?
What I get is an increase in frequency, like a higher frequency that would quicker change consciousness.
And is there a higher frequency being offered to humankind?
Yes, I think it is. And I do think that it is here, and I do think that it is happening.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be very strong, though.
Yes. Are they going to turn up the frequency to awaken those who are not participating at this time?
I hope so, but we would need all the hands to help.
All the hands, meaning every human, or all of the hands, meaning what?
All of the hands, meaning those that are already aware that this needs to happen or that this is happening or that has the capacity to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They can't ignore it.
So, this is a call to all of those who are already awake.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And how can the ones who are already awake assist in awakening those who are not participating?
By being true to themselves and following what is true to them in order to follow the higher frequency, and also making more conscious decisions on a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm.